35 of the best dirt sim racers in the world are back to chase a $25,000 purse and ultimately a $10,000 championship prize. For the 5th time in iRacing history, we kick off the season for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series here at the Volusia Speedway Park in Barberville, Florida. Much like its real-world counterpart, the virtual drivers will take on the fastest dirt half mile in the country. I'm Chase Rodman. You may recognize me from DirtVision.com with the Real Life Sprint Car Series. Alongside me, as always, is Justin Prince. JP, it is good to be back after a pretty lengthy offseason for most of these drivers.
Yes, indeed, and it's going to be interesting to see how a lot of these drivers adapt now to this campaign, because there's been plenty of changes to the car itself, but there's also plenty newcomers who are looking to try and challenge Alex Bergeron for his throne for the title. It's going to be a very busy campaign, to say the very least, this time around.
Alex Bergeron looking for 4 championships in a row with this series. Who can stop him in 2021/22? We'll find out after these 10 races that you're seeing on your screen now. Right here tonight, Volusia Speedway Park next Monday night. Kokomo Speedway, Indiana's baddest bull ring on November 22nd. After that, we'll head to the high banks of Bristol Motor Speedway, then Eldora Speedway, Williams Grove Speedway, Knoxville Raceway, Cedar Lake, Lernerville, Weed Sport, and cap it all off at the dirt track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Obviously, Justin, as always, a pretty big diversity of racetracks here. Big ones, small ones, high banks, low banks. It's going to be fun once again.
I'm really intrigued to see how the Bristol Dirt Race is going to fare out, Chase, because that's the first time in series history these competitors will be able to go to that racetrack, and it's going to be fun to see how they handle the last great Coliseum.
And that track is obviously very, very fast, and it is going to be exciting to see who comes out on top there for that one. And Justin, I'm just so excited to see some of these new rookies that come into this year and see what they can do. As we take a look at the point system, this is how the drivers each and every night, each Monday, this is how they will earn points throughout the campaign. To win a heat race, it is 8 points and 1 point per position thereafter. So 8th place will get 1 point, as you can see on the left-hand column there. And obviously 70 points to win a feature race, along with a $300 top prize for each event. And you can see how the points break down to 20th place, which pays 23. So maximum amount of points in one night is 78, Justin.
In other words, you cannot afford to make a mistake and end up not making it to the feature race, because if you want to compete for the championship, at the very minimum, you need to be amongst those 20 cars who take the green flag for the feature race. In turn, there's a lot of pressure to be able to perform not just in qualifying, but in your heat race, and if you go to the consolations, survive said consolations.
Yeah, here is the format. There's those last chance qualifiers that Justin was talking about. Obviously, you start your night off with qualifying and then a 10-lap heat race. Top 4 go to the feature. Then a last chance qualifier. There's 2 of those, 12 laps, top 2 out of each of those to the feature, and a 35-lap A main event, 20 drivers, 300 to win, 200 for second, $100 for third.
It's high pressure, high stakes to be able to perform when it comes to that type of racing, and for these drivers tonight. But before these drivers get underway, I'm about to be joined by Brian Carter, CEO of World Racing Group Incorporated. Welcome to the show, Brian. A lot of people are familiar with the position at World Racing Group as the CEO, but for some new to racing, what unique opportunities do you deal with as the CEO of a racing organization versus a normal business?
Well, the CEO of a racing business, we're operating in 37 states with 250 national outdoor sports promoted events that are weather dependent, and you throw in race cars and all the rest. It's quite exciting. And so on top of managing people and budgets and customers, we're managing, selling chaos, and it's such a great time, candidly, to be a fan of racing. So it's definitely challenging, but it's no different than everything else. You're trying to make sure people are happy, you keep people motivated, and at the same time, you're trying to entertain race fans in a very, very dynamic world. So it's quite a lot of fun trying to do all that.
Now, you've been with the World of Outlaws since back in the summer of 2004. What have been some of the bigger changes you've seen going through dirt racing since you started working with the series?
Yeah, so 2004 is a long time ago. So we're getting ready to kick off 19th season, if you could believe that. It's definitely, the world is a different place in 2004, but dirt racing has remained true to its roots. It's such an important family sport. It's very local to the local racetracks, and candidly, the last 5 or 10 years, it's felt like things have accelerated when you bring in all of the social media aspects, the people's desire to be entertained now, and to be entertained with a very short and entertaining excitement. That's definitely changed over the last 10 years. And when you bring in streaming and video and the video gaming pieces of it, the cycle of which people refresh their entertainment and how they look at things, and the experiential lifestyle has been cycling about every 18 months now. So it's definitely something, in racing, you're trying to keep ahead of everything else. But since 2004, it seems like the pace of everything has accelerated. Not only the cars have gotten faster, but the entertainment's gotten faster, the attention span has gotten shorter. And it's just an interesting dynamic to watch it evolve, but still remain the same. It's still local, it's still family, it's still community, and it's still really raw and entertaining. And managing all those pieces into today's demands for short bursts of entertainment, experiential lifestyle, it's definitely something you've got to be on the gas to stay in front of.
Now, the World of Outlaws and iRacing partnership goes back to the beginning of dirt racing on the surface. How did that project form, and what were some of the key early moments that led the World of Outlaws to iRacing?
Yeah, the partnership with iRacing has been since the beginning of the dirt racing program for iRacing. So I'm glad that iRacing recognized that if you're going to develop something as it relates to leading in motorsports, all forms of entertainment, including the video simulation piece, that you need to start at the top. And we've always believed that the World of Outlaws has led the charge as it relates to new and exciting things, different pieces of entertainment, way in which to interact with fans. And if you're going to craft the best simulation in the business, you might as well partner with the best brands in the business as it relates to dirt racing. So the partnerships were founded a long time ago and built upon those over the years, and candidly have grown together very well. iRacing, if you're going to be extreme and real, iRacing and World of Outlaws is the perfect match for that. And through the years have developed parts of the business based on each other's needs. It's been interesting through the pandemic. Our partnership with iRacing allowed us to respond quicker than most everybody else related to, hey, how do we pull the video out of the video game? How do we show how entertaining not only it is to operate this simulator, but actually watching it and to see that and see it crafting. And candidly, we still use some of that technology today that we used in the early pandemic as it relates to being able to decode pieces that come from different satellite trucks across the country for our dirt vision broadcast. So it's a constant evolution built on a foundation. If you're going to be the best in the business, be the best in the business and partner with the best in the business. And that's been fundamental for us and iRacing.
That was very well said. That was Brian Carter, the CEO of World Racing Group. He'll join us again later on this evening, Chase.
Yeah, great to hear from the guy that signs my checks in the real world. A fantastic guy. Love hearing from Brian Carter. But it is now race time, ladies and gentlemen, as we get set to go for our first heat race of the evening. Here is how they will line up in heat race number 1. Quick time in qualifying and on the pole of heat race number 1 is the former World of Outlaws Late Model Series champion on iRacing. He's out of Asheville, New York. They represent LTD, Reliable Energy Solutions, ML Performance number 127. It's Blake Majulis. Outside the front row from Hamilton Township, New Jersey, the Rocket Racing setup, Slick Apparel, Gross Designs, number 48, it's Dylan Yeager.
Row 2 features Logan Rumsey from Manchester, Pennsylvania in the Slick Sim Sport Keller Contracting 129 Promotions Machine. He'll start alongside the number 74 from Tracy, California, Swindell Speed Lab K1 Race Gear and Victory Fuel Machine. It's Adam Elby.
Inside row 3 from San Jose, California, the LCJ Carpentry, Vanderpool Construction, SpeedShop51.com, number 4. That is Ross Kaiser. And to the outside from Dover, Pennsylvania, the Exterior Company, Victory Archery, Trent Pullman Designs, number 01 of David Allen.
Rounding out the drivers in this grid, Felix Roy from Napierville, Quebec, Canada, drives the Jim Beaver Esports Claude Joyal and Vision Wheel machine. He'll be starting alongside Justin Sherman's machine. He'll be driving the 000 for SSR Elite Sim Racing in the Wesky Oval TV School of Sim Racing and Personal Evolution Company machine. And the last driver of the grid overall, Lane Stevens, driving the 033 machine in the School of Sim Racing Personal Evolution Company Wesky Oval TV machine chase.
Here we go. Pace Truck is off. The first heat race of the season for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on iRacing.com is green as they head off at turn number 2. And now the back straightaway, your race leader is the former late model series champion Blake Majulis. Straps the wings on top, gets behind the wheel of the sprint car, and is having a great start to his night here as he leads lap number 1.
And a great start for Blake Majulis in his sprint car career. Remember, he was so strong when it came to running in late models a couple years ago when he won that championship. Leads up at Logan Rumsey and Company, but the battle for some of the bubble spots starting with Intensify. LB having to play several lanes with Kaiser and Company behind.
Remember, top 4 transfers straight onto the feature event. Here comes a big slider out of Ross Kaiser up across the nose of Adam Elby. Elby crosses back underneath him, and Elby hangs on to 4th. Now here comes the 91 of Ernie Williams Jr. A little contact off of turn number 2, and we got a 3-car race for the 4th spot as the top 3 try and pull away.
Ernie Williams Jr., one of the drivers to keep an eye on. Alex Bergeron mentioned him and his speed in a preseason race earlier on throughout the preparations this month. He's now in the midst of a slide job battle. LB slides up in front of Williams Jr. Kaiser sticks to the bottom, down the front.
Still a 3-car battle for the 4th spot with 2 laps to go. LB's got it. The driver out of Tracy, California, contact off the corner. That'll send the 4 of Ross Kaiser out of the picture. Now it's a 2-car tussle between the 74 of Elby and the 91 of Ernie Williams Jr. Top 3 still pretty strong right now. It looks like Majulis, Rumsey, and Yeager, the top 3 pulling away from Adam Elby.
Few laps to go this time by coming up towards the start of lap 8 now. Right now, Majulis holding on firm to the front. Rumsey, Yeager, LB now. But it's Ernie Williams Jr. who has the best shot to try to attack here. Lima, Ohio driver nearly getting towards the back end in the Black Diamond Motorsports car.
Only a few laps to go. I made a mistake there. I forgot we're running 10-lap heat races here tonight, but Ernie Williams Jr. looking strong here. And it's a good thing it's a 10-lap heat race here, Justin, because the 91 of Williams is all over Elby, giving him 1 more lap to go. White flag is out. We'll see if the 91 can make a move here.
Don't need to make a massive send here. Currently a decent buffer to the next cars in front. Here comes the send from Williams Jr. Can't get there. Williams Jr. can't make the move as Majulis takes the checkered flag. Rumsey, Yeager, LB hold on to the top 4 transfers chase.
Yep, those 4 moving on. Behind them, Ernie Williams Jr., Justin Sherman, Ross Kaiser, David Allen, and Lane Stevens will be the 4 drivers that will have to come out of the LCSs later on here tonight. Now we're getting set to go for heat race number 2. This is how they're going to line up here for this one. On the pole out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, the Swindell Speed Lab, K1 Race Gear, Bear Archery, number 00, it's Kendall Tucker. And to the outside of him, from Rocheport, Missouri, the Tiger Towing, the Stewart House, Trent Pullman Designs, number 86 of Timothy Smith.
In 3rd place, it's the Londonderry, Sydney, Australia-based driver with the Supreme Poultry, LCJ Carpentry, and CD Cinematography machine. It's Braden Shoup. Then, alongside him from Millersburg, Pennsylvania, in the Elbows Up Sim Sport, Personal Evolution Company, More Than Tires, Catch Fence Apparel machine. It's Tyler Shell.
From Perth, Western Australia, the Momentum Sim Sport, SpeedShop51.com, Tiltuck Racing Products, LCJ Carpentry, number 51. It's Clayton Tilley starting 5th. And to the outside of him from Castleton, Vermont, the DCI Racing, Ducharme Speed, Donnelly Construction, number 25 of Tyler Ducharme.
Behind them, from Charlotte, North Carolina, driving the Kligerman Sport machine with PG Products, Mechanics Tire and Auto of Locust, North Carolina, also on board. It's Carlin Cure. Then alongside him, driving the number 50 machine from Newcastle, Australia, in Ascendant Sim Sports, Hobbs Trenching and Boring. Weston Machine Shop, and Atlantic Oils Machine. It's Clayton Davies.
Final starter in heat race number 2 from Hanford, California, the SpeedShop51.com. Momentum SimSport, Vanderpool Construction number 114. And then one of our rookie drivers, it's Landon Cardoza. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this wondering, how can I get into iRacing? Well, there is a great Black Friday sale going on right now for new members. If you are a brand new person to iRacing, 50% off of new memberships. You really want to take advantage of that. As you can see at the top of the screen there, now through December 4th. Also, if you're an existing member, 25% off of renewals. So very, very cool to see a great discount there for Black Friday coming up here very soon through December 4th. Make sure you take advantage of that. Getting ready to go here, heat race number 2, Kendall Tucker, Timothy Smith on the front row, heading off of turn number 4. There goes that pace truck into the infield, and the green flag is in the air.
Off to a clean start, Kendall Tucker working his way towards the upper middle grooves. Shoot stuck on the bottom line. Timothy Smith able to defend to move up to second. Tyler Shell up towards the top in the battle now for third position. A clean start side by side for third.
A great race going on there. Big move out of the 76 of Braden Shute. Tries to get to the inside of Tyler Shell. Shell drives around on the outside. Now the 76 big send into the corner. But Shell once again drives around him. That bottles up the 76's Shute. And here comes Tyler Ducharme trying to get up to the back bumper of Tyler Shell down the back straightaway.
A new look for Tyler Ducharme this season with the pink machine all over the back end of the 85. As the caution waves, Kier is in trouble.
And we got one car. Carlin Cure is off the pace down the front straightaway, gets the car straightened back out, but the yellow flag will fly here in the heat race. And Justin, that is something we have not seen in the past. Must be a new rule for 2021-2022 season. Cautions in the heat races, which is a pretty big deal for some of these drivers, I would say.
It absolutely is, because it allows for many drivers in turn to be able to try and recover some time lost if they were involved in some trouble. In the case of Kier, here's a look at what happened. One of the rookies here, a big send, and wow, right to the back tire of the 50 and right up against the said tires along the wall.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a little bit of too much damage there for Carlin Kier to, he might be able to keep on going, but he's probably not going to be very competitive here with that damage. But yeah, as you can see here, under caution in heat race number 2, these caution laps do not count, so 3 complete out of this 10-lap heat race. Up front, it is Kendall Tucker with the race lead, followed by Timothy Smith, Tyler Shell, and Braden Shute. So 2 veterans of the series right there with Tucker and Shell, and 2 rookies with Shute and Smith doing a great job so far.
Absolutely. I've been impressed by how they've been able to defend their lines and be able to ride where they want to race, essentially, and forcing the others to try and find a way around. But we've also seen early on some of the effects, I think, in part of some of the updates in recent weeks, because some of the drivers, such as Alex Bergeron referenced, you can go a little bit lower now on the wing angles, for example, which will add a bit more comfortability and adaptiveness for some of the drivers to match what some may feel in the real world.
Yeah, and the more you flatten that wing out, the faster speeds you will see down the straightaways as well, which is a lot to do with some of these setups these drivers run here on iRacing.com as we are set to come back to green. 3 laps complete of this 10-lap heat race, and heat race number 2, not a very good start at all for Timothy Smith, and bottled up behind him is Tyler Shell, and that's going to cost him big time. Here comes Shute, and here comes Ducharme to the inside. Shell goes from 3rd to 5th in turn 1.
Shell is not giving up easily, though. Here comes the slide job for 3rd. The crossover back from Shute. Ducharme nearly got into him. Near contact again off to turn 1 as Ducharme goes for the slide. Shute holding on, and Shell making it 3 wide down the back.
3 wide for the transfer spot. Big move out of Tyler Shell. He's got 3rd. Now Ducharme back to the inside. Here comes Shute, nearly contact. There is contact. Getting into turn number 1. Shute hangs onto it. Here comes the 50 of Davies and the 51 of Tilley. Clayton Davies and Clayton Tilley trying to make it a 5-car scrap for 3rd down the front straightaway.
Oh, and they make contact. A big of a bobble there between the 50 and the 51. Holds them up. Takes them out of the fight for the time being. Coming up to 3 laps to go this time. And now Shute is starting to play defensively, Chase. Not trying to get an opportunity for Ducharme to build up a run here.
Watching the driver out of Vermont right here, the 25 of Tyler Ducharme working on the 76 of Braden Shute. That's the battle for the final transfer spot. Ducharme to the inside, down into turn number 3. He'll slide up, take the 4th spot momentarily, nearly hits the wall. 2 to go, Shute back to the inside. What a battle for the transfer spot.
What a drive so far for both of these drivers. Both of them really want to be able to move on to the feature directly. Shoot with a bad corner. Couple cars crash. White flag's already waving. Final lap.
This race for the 4th spot, not over yet. Ducharme's got it. Here comes Shoot. Big run down the back straightaway. Final time into turns 3 and 4. Ducharme goes to the inside. Great move right there to block the line. And it will be Ducharme with the final transfer spot. He runs 4th. Your race winner, however, is Kendall Tucker. Timothy Smith in 2nd. Tyler Schell 3rd. And Tyler Ducharme moving on to the feature event, Justin.
And unfortunate for Shoot, played it very well, but in the end just couldn't hold off Ducharme. Cardoza, Tilley, Davies, and Cure, the last of the drivers running. Some of those drivers significant damage towards the line.
Well, let's take a look at our 3rd heat race, I should say. The lineup will look like this. On the pole, he's the 3-time and defending Outlaw champion, the Drummondville, Quebec, Canada native. In the ABR setup shop, Pit Logic, Stucco and Joints, Simon Gents, number 12 of Alex Bergeron. And to the outside of him, a brand new dad as of yesterday from Hanford, California. The over-the-wall photography, School of Sim Racing, Jessup Logistics, number 69. It's Shea Paolo.
From Chesney, South Carolina, driving the Bighorn Taxidermy, Tedder's Isle of Frenchies, and Salida Truck Stop Machine is the number 33 of Evan C. Alongside him, one of the drivers to keep an eye on throughout this season. Driving the House of Speed Machine from Knoxville, Tennessee, it's Hayden Cardwell.
Row 3 on the inside. The driver starts 5th out of Greenfield, Indiana. The SSR Elite Sim Racing, Gray Auto, School of Sim Racing, Personal Evolution Company. Number 06, it's Rylan Gray. And to the outside of him, keep your eye on this driver from Santa Rosa, California. The K1 race gear, Bear Archery, Dominator Designs, number 52, it's James Edens.
Starting behind them from Pittsburgh, Indiana, driving the Black Diamond Motorsports, Tim Sims, Velocity Race Designs, Kenny's Components Machine, it's the Little Hurricane, Mason Hannigan. Alongside him, one of the rookies for this season, driving from the province of Quebec, should say, the GPS Sharks, Volusia Chevrolet Carstar Machine, the number 1, Jeremy St. Louis.
And your final starter here tonight from Reading, Pennsylvania, the School of Sim Racing Crescent Donuts, number 99, it's Greg Lamy. Getting ready to go. Heat race number 3, 10 laps, top 4 going to the feature event here tonight. And excuse me, that is LeMay, Gregory LeMay in the 99 car. My bad there, as I had his name correctly last season, but it's been a long time, Justin. We haven't been racing with the Pro Series in quite some time here, so obviously we're going to have a couple of mistakes here. Race number 1, as the pace truck pulls off, Alex Bergeron and Shea Paolo, the front row, green flag in the air off of turn number 4, we're underway.
And already contact for second. Hayden Cardwell collecting several drivers into turn 1. No caution as Rylan Gray is on his side.
Yep, no yellow as of yet. The 06 of Rylan Gray shuffled out of this one. Alex Bergeron is your race leader on lap number 1. Evan C. running in the 2nd spot. 3rd is Shea Paolo. 4th is James Edens. And in 5th, it is Jeremy St. Louis. Down the back straightaway, he's got a run on the 52 of Edens into turn number 3.
Keep an eye on Edens. Keep in mind, Chase, several times he has won here at Volusia, and it just so happens to be every season there's been a second date at this facility. He's won here. It's going to be interesting if he can break that trend and try and find his way towards a victory in the first race at Volusia.
Yeah, last year during the first race, James Edens was dead last, went a lap down and the feature finished 20th. The next week he came out and won. Here he goes, going by for the 3rd position. Makes the pass now. Right back across the nose, 69 of Shea Paolo. Paolo gets crossed back up by Edens, and here comes the number 1 of Jeremy St. Louis.
St. Louis wanting to show what he can do with that one machine now, using the cushion, ripping the top right against some of the walls. But that 69 of Shea Powell, the new dad, trying to use the middle to bottom lines. Still not moving his way up to clear on by. St. Louis says, bye-bye, I'll take the spot.
What a move right there by the rookie driver, Jeremy St. Louis. Jeremy St. Louis makes the pass. Shea Paolo shuffled back to 5th and out of a transfer spot. Now St. Louis, he's not done yet. To the outside of James Edens. He's going for that 3rd spot down the back straightaway. What a run here by St. Louis. He started 8th on the field. He's going to make the pass for 3rd down the front straightaway.
St. Louis with the major slide. Move them up into the transfer spots now. Edens now in 4th position. Now back and forth for 3rd spot. Edens up in front. Keep in mind, Shea Powell has now dropped back by nearly a full second with a couple laps to go.
Yeah, Paolo is definitely not looking good here if he wants to make it into a transfer spot. The race for third continues on. James Eden's back to the inside of Jeremy St. Louis down the back straightaway. Up into turns 3 and 4. St. Louis, big run off the corner, gets into the right rear of Eden's. Hangs onto the race car, loses a lot of ground, but that could have been costly right there with the white flag in the air.
Final lap for Heat 3, and now for Alex Bergeron. He'll come out of the final corner and take his first heat race victory of the season. Evan C., James Edens, and Jeremy St. Louis moves on. And keep in mind, when it comes to St. Louis, his goal was to just finish top 15 in points. He starts off by making his first feature right from the get-go.
Yeah, from the 8th starting position, what a run right there for Jeremy St. Louis. Now, let's get into our final heat race of the evening. On the pole of this one, he's out of Ellicott City, Maryland. It's the 17 of Cameron Merriman. Outside from Bakersfield, California, the 14 of J.D. Brown.
Behind them from West St. Paul, Manitoba, Canada, the number 21, it's Chris Sabesky. Then, from Franklin, Pennsylvania, driving the number 5 machine, it's Braden Eiler.
From Woodford, Virginia, starting 5th in this one, the 13 car of Aiden Beerline. And to the outside of him, it's going to be Davin Cardwell. He's out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Then, in the number 18 machine, from the state of Wisconsin, it's Austin Settleman. And the last of the drivers to take the green flag from the province of Quebec in Canada, the number 91 is Felix Roy. Or 091, should say.
A nice mix of drivers here in the final heat race. Cameron Merriman, obviously, and Braden Eiler, those two drivers. Austin Selman, those three have been in this series for quite some time now, with multiple seasons under their belt. And Merriman, the talks of a lot of different drivers in this series is a possible, I don't know about championship favor, Justin, but definitely a possibility as a top 3 run this season, which would be huge for that driver.
And the part of the reason they say all that is there were several leagues and various series across iRacing that were held during the last break or so over the past few months. And guess who went on a hot streak against drivers like Tucker, like Shell? Many of the drivers you see in the series tonight. Merriman. He dominated one of those series to the point where he picked up a fairly hefty total, to say the very least, by being able to dominate varieties of different tracks. So Cameron Merriman has got a lot of momentum his direction heading into this year's season.
Always love talking to Cameron Merriman in interviews, man. He is so technical, and he explains things very, very well. If you're somebody watching at home as a spectator, he really gives a great trail of what it's like to actually be out there on the racetrack in his post-race interviews. See what he can do here tonight. If he can win heat race number 4, he will start on the outside of row number 2 for tonight's feature event. Pace truck is pulling off. Front row, Merriman. And to the outside, J.D. Brown. Green flag is in the air. The final heat race of the night is underway.
And already, Chris Sabesky looking for the major slide, already up to second position. J.D. Hollywood Brown not giving up, wants the slide job back, parks the bus. Sabesky with the cross. Here comes Eiler now for second.
Brown got into the front straightaway wall. It's going to give up a little bit of ground. Here comes Austin Selman to the inside, down the back straightaway. The 18 car for Tony Stewart Racing, trying to take the final transfer spot. Selman way down by the inside wall, and he's got 4th down the front straightaway.
We're not giving things up. Meanwhile, for second position, slides back up in front of Sabesky. All while Settleman holds on to the final transfer right on behind. J.D. Brown is trying the higher lines. All while second nearly makes an error, bit of contact, allowing Settleman to gain some time.
Yeah, close call there for second. Eiler and Sabesky going at it. Give it to the young gun. Braden Eiler down the back straightaway. He's got the second position for now, but Settleman is making some ground up on the inside of the racetrack, rolling some hot bottom right now, JP, and he might get himself up to second if he keeps that up.
Yeah, he's definitely found something that's working very comfortably compared to everybody else who seems to prefer the middle to top groups. Just seems like he's able to carry a lot more speed and momentum off the corner. Settlement now looking to clear for third. Just about does, and J.D. Brown started to follow suit just past halfway.
Merriman still with a comfortable half-second lead over the number 5 of Braden Eiler. Here comes Selman. He's got 3rd down the front straightaway, and now closing in on Braden Eiler, the driver out of Pennsylvania. The orange number 5 working the top of the racetrack. The 18 of Selman way down by the inside wall, and he is creeping up alongside of him. Might be able to get that second spot away with 2 laps to go.
I think he's found something that could work for later on this evening. Let's put it that way right now. Still not able to get alongside Foley for second, but looking very comfortable. The top 4 now coming up towards the final couple laps. 2 to go.
Last race, we saw a driver advance from 8th up to 3rd in the heat race, and now Austin Selman from 7th to 3rd. We'll see if he can get by Eiler for 2nd. Now Eiler sees him in the rearview mirror, comes down in front of him, goes back to the top of the racetrack. White flag is out, 1 to go.
One more time around for the heat races. Eiler now playing defensively. He wants the track position. Sullivan forced to check up. Now, Sabesky towards the top line, all while Merriman dominates the heat. Eiler holds on to 2nd as Merriman wins. Sullivan, Sabesky, the top 4 chase.
Cameron Merriman gets the job done by nearly a full second over Braden Eiler, Selman, and Sabesky. Going to the last chance showdowns, J.D. Brown, Aiden Bierlin, Davin Cardwell, Felix Roy will be your final finishers in heat race number 4. Now, getting set to go for our first of 2 last chance qualifiers. 12 laps will be the distance, and the top 2 will transfer out of each of them. Here is the lineup for last chance qualifier number 1. On the pole, the number 91 of Ernie Williams Jr., and on the outside, the 22 of Mason Hannigan.
Right behind him in the 0Z machine. Driving from Sacramento, California, it's Justin Sherman. Then the number 69 machine from Hanford, California, it's Shea Powell.
Row 3 on the inside, it's going to be Ross Kaiser from Momentum Simsport, and outside of him from Elbows Up Simsport, the 99 of Gregory Lamy.
One of the drivers to keep an eye on is the 01 machine. From Dover, Pennsylvania, it's David Allen. Starting alongside the 07 machine after a rough heat race from Slick Sim Sport, the Knoxville, Tennessee-based driver Hayden Cardwell.
Final driver out of Auburn, Washington. It's the 33 of Lane Stevens, another one of our rookie drivers here in the 2021-2022 season. Once again, 12 laps the distance here. Top 2 will transfer to the feature event, and I think all eyes right here are going to be on Hayden Cardwell coming from the 8th starting spot. He's definitely got his work cut out for him here, JP.
Yeah, especially after the horrific start to his heat, where he was essentially 3 wide by the start and finish line, spun around in a full circle, then collected Rylan Gray, as we mentioned, who, mind you, is in his first start of the series, who only made about 20, 40 feet. So in other words, for Cardwell, this is going to be extremely difficult for him because, as we've seen, well, yes, if you've got good consistency and you're able to get a good launch, you can make some quick passes. If you're not able to make the passes after a few laps, it can be difficult to gain a lot of the time back.
Yeah, Cardwell, we've seen him do this in the past where he makes some heroic runs through the last chance qualifiers, so it'd be fun to watch him. Also want to keep an eye on Gregory LeMay here. He was the qualifier series champion to get into this series. We took the top 20-ish out of that, and he was the overall champion during that 6-race swing. So we'll see if the 99 car can keep up his winning ways here and at least put it into the show here out of this first last chance qualifier. Pace truck about ready to pull into the infield and put the field in the hands of Ernie Williams Jr. and the 22 of Mason Hannigan. Green flag is out and in the air. The 91 gets a good start. Mason Hannigan to the inside, already 3 wide for the race lead off of turn number 2.
Oh, and some cars have just slammed into the wall. David Allen amongst them. Hayden Cardwell was also collected, chased the rest of the field clean as they're running near 3 wide for the race lead.
And that's going to be the end for Cardwell, I'd have to guess, as we still go at it for the race lead. Hannigan through the middle, Sherman down on the inside, and Ernie Williams Jr. on the top. This is going to be a dogfight all the way through this 12-lap affair. The 91 on the top side, he's going to have the second spot just barely at the line.
Justin Sherman trying to hold on to the bottom. Behind him, Shea Powell has just clocked the wall, though, Chase. Significant contact for the doodad. The Elbows Up Simsport machine may have a bit of damage after a bit of that wall contact, Chase. That shuffled him down back to 6th.
Yeah, it looks like the drivers we need to keep an eye on here. Oh, we got the caution. Caution is out here in the last chance qualifier. And I believe it was for the number 4, it sounds like, of Ross Kaiser. Ross Kaiser getting upside down, and he has already taken the number 4 machine back to the pit area here. So we'll try and spool up a replay here and see exactly what happened to the Momentum Simsport driver.
Let's put it this way for Ross Kaiser. This is not how I think he wanted his first race in the series to go. Big bobble right up into the catch fence, and that car immediately destroyed Chase. His day likely done.
Yeah, you saw there, he got into the wall off of turn number 4, probably broke the Jacobs ladder there, and the car, the rear end was knocked out of it. He went right into the fence in turn number 1, got caught up in the catch fence. And that'll be the end of race number 1 here at Volusia Speedway Park for the number 4 of Ross Kaiser. That caution right there may be a saving grace for some of the drivers at the tail end of the field, including the 0-1 of David Allen, who right now on the speedway looks like he runs in 7th, so he's got to get by 5 cars if he wants to try and keep his night alive here.
I'm really curious how David Allen tries to play this out, because here's one thing to keep in mind. He was essentially the last driver who was put into the series, essentially, to say the very least. He's someone who's worked on these cars in central Pennsylvania for the past 15 years on and off. And he essentially told me earlier on today where he is hoping to get the job done for the older guys against some of the young guns. In fact, he mentioned he has some children who are older than most of his competitors here. So I'm curious how David Allen does here in the spotlight, just about a year on the service, mind you, Chase.
Wow. That's pretty impressive right there to be at the top level of dirt sim racing here after just 1 year on iRacing. And I always root for the old guys, no doubt. So we'll see what David Allen can do here. And correct me if I'm wrong there, Justin, but I feel like he found out that he was in this series pretty last minute as one of our drivers that was locked in, decided not to run. And Allen got the call just a few days ago, maybe even yesterday. So we'll see what happens. Hayden Cardwell is back on the speedway. We'll see what can happen here as the green flag comes back out.
Cardwell has actually passed on by Allen at the back of the group and is already putting several cars under attack. 2x2 for about 4 from back. But Ernie Williams Jr. currently holding on to that all-important second position. Not anymore, though. Justin Sherman joining the fray.
Justin Sherman out of Sacramento, California takes over second. Williams gets a right rear from Gregory LeMay down the back straightaway. The 99 car is now up into the 3rd spot. 1 spot out of the transfer. Now Sherman misses the bottom right there. LeMay to the outside. Battle for the transfer down the front straightaway.
And the baby animal looking to try and pounce here as up into the wall goes Sherman. Sherman with a big save. My goodness, that could have been disastrous as LeMay makes the move.
Sherman back to the inside, and now here comes Ernie Williams once again. He's not out of this thing yet, along with Shea Pallow. Big send out of the 0-0 of Sherman. He gets into the wall in the back straightaway. LeMay back to the inside. The race for the transfer spot is on into turns 3 and 4. Sherman back to the inside. Almost some contact off at turn number 4.
4 laps to go here in this consolation. 1 car has hit the wall in Lane Stevens. That's the caution flag, second of this race. So the 033 Chase has just hit the wall in 1 and 2 and will reset the field and maybe another chance for a few of the drivers to pounce.
Yeah, the driver out of Auburn, Washington, in the School of Sim Racing, Personal Evolution Company, Whiskey Oval TV, 33 into the wall right there, as you can see, in a big flip over right there for the rookie driver. Obviously not what he wanted to do as well here this evening, but luckily, you know, we don't expect a rookie to come out here and light the world on fire, Justin. There's no doubt. Obviously, the nerves, I would say, get to some of these new drivers being at this top level of sim racing. You know, obviously, we're live streaming on multiple platforms here with thousands of viewers, so I think some of that stress gets to some of these new guys.
Potentially, because for a lot of the drivers, well, some such as Lane Stevens, who is called the silent assassin because he's normally quiet and elusive when it comes to his demeanor, has a lot of real-world experience, the pressure is always on to try and be able to come away with the victory at the top level of sim racing, like in this series. It puts a lot of pressure on, and in turn, it's a goal for many drivers to be able to perform well here. And for some, it's about the learning experience in their first season. For others, you could have what happened in the late model side for when we had a first-time winner in this first race, ended up falling out of the top 15 that season.
I remember that, yeah. Drew Hopkins shocked the world that night when he was a rookie driver and took the victory on the first race of the year. So I wouldn't be surprised if it happened again. Obviously, like I said, shocked the world that night. We'll see what happens here in tonight's feature event. But right now, let's reset the running order. It's Mason Hannigan up front, Gregory LeMay up front as well. Those two are in the transfer spots. Then Justin Sherman, Ernie Williams Jr., Shea Pallow, Hayden Cardwell, and David Allen are the looks to be 7 cars left here in the first last chance qualifier. Looks like we're about to come back to the green flag. We'll see if Hannigan and LeMay can hang on to those 2 spots. We have seen how good Sherman is on the inside of the racetrack, and he gets a great restart right there.
Sherman on board, you see on the right side, but he's being dove underneath on the left side of his track. Ernie Williams Jr. nearly made the move. Sherman now back up to 3rd position. 2 to go, this time by as Cardwell tries to tuck behind him.
And now Ernie Williams Jr. challenged on the inside by Paolo as Sherman's into the wall. Hangs onto it, gets into Ernie Williams Jr. upside down. Goes Sherman. I think we might stay green for that one as the race for the lead heats up as well. Hannigan and the 99 of LeMay going at it. LeMay does not want to be on the bubble spot here on the final lap there, Justin, as the white flag is in the air.
Final time around for this LCQ as Hannigan holds on to the bottom. LeMay, all he needs to do is make one more corner and does. Hannigan, LeMay, move on. Powell, the first one out.
So those will be your two drivers making their way into the feature event. We have one more last chance qualifier left to run. So nice job by Mason Hannigan and Gregory LeMay with the top two. These drivers will not make the call for the feature. Shea Paolo, Hayden Cardwell, David Allen, Justin Sherman, Ernie Williams Jr., Lane Stevens, and Ross Kaiser. So let's see what happens here in the final last chance qualifier of the night and the final race before we get into feature event action here tonight. So on the front row for this one, the 76 of Braden Shute, and the 14 out of Bakersfield, California, it's J.D. Brown.
Then right on behind them from Hanford, California, driving the 114 machine, it's Landon Cardoza. Right on behind and beside him, driving in the number 13 machine from Woodford, Virginia, it's Aiden Beerline.
Row 3 from Perth, Western Australia, the 51 of Clayton Tilley, and to the outside of him from Knoxville, Tennessee, the 70 of Davin Cardwell.
From Newcastle, Australia, it's the number 50 of Clayton Davies. Right beside him will be the Canadian once more from Quebec. It's Felix Roy.
From Charlotte, North Carolina, the number 7 of Carlin Cure, and from Greenfield, Indiana, the number 06 of Rylan Gray. 10 cars for 12 laps, top 2 going to the tail of the feature event. We'll see who can hang on here in this one. A lot of rookies in this last chance qualifier there, Justin. Looking over the lineup here, I think J.D. Brown and possibly Davin Cardwell, the only two returning drivers. I don't even know if Davin Cardwell was in the series last year. I know he was in the late models, but
yes.
Okay, so J.D. Brown is the only returning sprint car driver in this last chance qualifier.
I'm very curious, though, on a lot of the newcomers to see which ones try and pounce for that spot, whether it's Shute, who will try and play defensively, or whether it's, say, Rylan Gray, because there's a lot of hype towards him, Chase, because he's just 15 years old, known as the shooting star. He's a newcomer to the series, obviously, but he is someone who's raced real-life midgets and has made an impact with multiple victories and top fives to the point where he ended up getting a ride in a dirt midget just a few days ago for the 2021 Gateway Dirt Nationals.
Yeah, very cool. That driver comes from a long list of famous race car drivers, and their family owns a nice sprint car. CJ Leary picked up a win earlier this year in that sprint car out at Bloomington Speedway in Indiana. Rylan Gray definitely has a bright future ahead of him in dirt racing, that is for sure. So it sounds like J.D. Brown was scheduled to be on the outside of the front row. Justin, he doesn't even make the call for this one.
Technical issues, unfortunate for J.D. Brown, not how he wanted a season to start, Chase, and now he's going to be behind the 8-ball the rest of the way.
Yeah, he did lose connection to the server, which is one of those things you got to watch out for in iRacing. The green flag is in the air, and now the 76 of Braden Shute up front. On the outside of the front row, it was Aiden Beerline, as he will take over that second spot from the failing J.D. Brown down the back straightaway. Beerline's got it. Clayton Tilley's right behind him.
Clayton Tilley had a very rough heat race, and now Tilley for Momentum Sim Sport looking to try and find some momentum. Beerline rides the top. Down below Tilley. Tilley can't keep side by side down the back as now some of the teammates start to squabble for third.
Watching the 114 of Landon Cardoza, the driver out of Hanford, California. He's running in fourth right behind Clayton Tilley down into turn number 1. The 13 of Aiden Beerline still has the second spot, and he's closing on your race leader, Braden Shute. Race for the lead up front.
And a great battle up towards those front drivers now. 3 competitors nearly back end to back end throughout the last corner. This time a bit more separated with Beerline preferring the top line. Now Shute continues to hold on and hug towards the bottom. Tilley and the rest of the group now trying to watch as Beerline gets to the rear end tire of the 76.
Beerline doing everything he can to get by for the race lead. Does not want to on the bubble. Big turn down the hill, down the back straightaway. Beerline to the inside for the race lead. Shute going to try and protect, but now here comes Tilley. Shute back to the inside for the race lead. Side by side at the line. Give it to the 13 of Beerline.
And Beerline's not giving up as the caution flag is out. Rylan Gray, his bad luck in his first race in this series continues. He and Felix Roy have tangled chase.
You have Felix Roy, Rylan Gray, the 2 cars getting tangled up there and obviously going to be a lot of damage there for Felix Roy, who looked like he was stuck on his lid there, and he has made his way back into the pit area. Take a look at the replay here. Let's see what happened.
Keep in mind that Ray had already been involved in one incident. I'd see him back, and then, yeah, just three drivers,
Yep.
three wide with 2 lanes, essentially.
Yeah, that's a tough way to go out right there for Felix Roy, another one of those rookie drivers that we were talking about. And Felix, he does a lot of racing in real life with, I believe, small block modifieds and racing in for Jim Beaver Esports along with Vision Wheel and Case Claude Joyal. He's from Naperville, Quebec, Canada. And Justin, a lot of drivers this season from the, what would it be called, the country of Canada up there in your neck of the woods.
Yes, indeed, it's called Canada. 3 from Quebec, 1 from the province of Manitoba, 4 total. And keep in mind, Australia also has 3 drivers representing them this year as well. But the interesting statistic out of where drivers are from to think about is states of California and Pennsylvania with 7 and 6 respectively in the US2 chase. So plenty of drivers international, but plenty based in California or in Pennsylvania.
Obviously, 2 places hotbeds for sprint car racing, especially central Pennsylvania, where you see a lot of great race car drivers and some big-time racetracks from that area. Obviously, Williams Grove Speedway, obviously Lincoln Speedway, Port Royal Speedway, which was, we saw a picture of the iRacing scanning van was there a few weeks ago, and cannot wait to see that racetrack make its way here onto the iRacing sim. In my opinion, probably one of the top 3 dirt tracks in the country, Port Royal Speedway. It's going to be awesome when that comes onto the iRacing sim as the pace truck is ready to pull off the speedway. Aiden Beerline, Braden Shute, the top 2, green flag back in the air. Clayton Tilley's in 3rd, Landon Cardozo 4th, and Davin Cardwell in 5th as they head back into 1 and 2.
Halfway through now, this LCQ. Shute trying to stay low. Tilley, though, wants to take it low. A spin for the 76. He and several others go up in the air. Caution is out again. Tilley up to 2nd after the massive send.
And there is going to be some hurt feelings after that one. I would have to think they're just in huge contact into the corner. We'll have to take a look at the replay here and see what exactly transpired. Looked at the 51 of Tilley, went in there, tried to make the slide happen, and maybe just clipped the front end of Braden Shute. Here is the replay. Keep an eye on that car on the outside, the blue and white machine to the inside. Might need to get a different view right there. Tough to tell, but wow, way up in the sky. That was a high flyer for the 114 to Landon Cardozo.
Nowhere to go for Cardozo whatsoever. There's the contact from below, and he's just trying to run the cushion as the 76 is sent up the racetrack. Now, with several drivers with significant damage here, that only burned about a lap off the board, if any, their chase.
Yeah, that's going to be huge as well for some of those drivers that were running, 6th, 7th, 8th, to make their way up into a position possibly to transfer, like Davin Cardwell. He was running 5th on that restart. Now he will restart in 3rd. And then we also look at Clayton Davies. He restarted back in 6th. He is running 4th. So those 2 drivers definitely have themselves a good shot at possibly making their way up into the top 2. So far this race, though, it's all been Aiden Beerline after taking the lead away about lap 4. Has been uncontested so far. J.D. Brown has made it onto the racetrack, but unfortunately, Justin, going to be a couple laps down here.
How about 6 laps down to be precise? In other words, he needs a lot to happen. He needs everyone to get in trouble, to have a shot.
And it needs to happen, like, on the next lap. That's the only way that J.D. Brown's going to have a shot. Maybe just go out there and make sure your setup feels good behind other cars. I feel like that's maybe the only thing that J.D. Brown can accomplish here. The driver out of Bakersfield, California. Tough to see, but, we talk about drivers that have real-world experience. Another one of those guys right there runs mod lights in real life out of Bakersfield, J.D. Brown. It's cool to have those real-world drivers in the series. Green flag is back in the air for Aiden Beerline.
Now down to 5 total laps to go. The top 2 still Beerline and Tilley. Cardwell now moves up to 3rd spot. Davin Cardwell on the top. Clayton Davies trying to stick to the bottom. They need to make up a lot of time, though. 5-6 car lengths down the front is the separation.
Yeah, not looking good for Cardwell and Davies as they are about, 6, 7, 8 car lengths behind the 51 of Clayton Tilley, and he's working on the back bump of Aiden Beerline. 3 laps to go this time by the starter stand, and those 2 up front, I would say, have got to be feeling pretty comfortable right now when they look back behind them and they can see that much of a gap. So Davies and Cardwell not going to give up here. They're going to need some contact or some chaos up front to make a move, I think.
I think so too, especially with the pace showing. And keep in mind, the clouds are starting to settle over the racetrack as well. That's going to plummet this track temperature just a little bit more for these final couple laps. Oh, wow. Tilly and Beerline preferring that top groove. Coming up to the white flag this time by.
Man, I thought I was seeing things there, Justin. When my screen got darker, I forgot we've got that dynamic weather here in the sim here. Makes it so very cool and very interesting here as we head down the backstretch for the final time. Aiden Beerline, Clayton Tilley going to make their way through turns 3 and 4. The 13 and the 51 will punch their ticket into the first feature event of the season with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Beerline wins it over Tilly Cardoza, or sorry, not, hang on, let me get that correct here. It was Tilly, Davies, Cardwell, Cure, Shoot, Cardoza, Roy, Gray, and Brown, your finishing order for the second last chance qualifier. So we're going to take a quick break here and come right back for feature event action here tonight at the Volusia Speedway Park.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Volusia Speedway Park for round number 1 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship on iRacing.com. I'm Chase Rodman. We're so glad you're joining us on all of iRacing's various social media channels as well as DirtVision.com. Now let's head over to Justin Prince as he's going to catch up once again with the CEO of World Racing Group, Brian Carter.
Yes, indeed. Once again, we're joined by Brian Carter now to pick up where we left off. During the pandemic, the World of Outlaws was one of the first sanctioning bodies to jump on to run virtual events with real-world drivers on iRacing. What was that process like to move a real-world focused series almost entirely online?
Yeah, the process was beyond my technical skill set. It was conceptually brought to us. It's like, hey, if we could pull that off, it'd be pretty entertaining. Now, how do we connect our race fans and show them that it's our racers, the ones they cheer for when we come to their racetracks? How do you get people that are really in race cars racing in simulators and entertain folks? Candidly, it just came down to entertaining people, and the technical aspects of that were way beyond the idea of being able to capture video from inside a video game. That's not a foreign concept for the last few years. I've seen people doing that for a long time, but the idea of actually inserting ourselves, pulling camera angles from races almost as if it's like we're at the racetrack, which is all iRacing is trying to do anyway when you're inside the seat of the cockpit. So it actually was quite natural to try to develop the rest of the simulation, which was how do you simulate camera angles? How do you simulate inserting broadcasters? And candidly, then connecting the race fans to that. And it was definitely beyond my technical. I'm a race promoter and a event manager. I'm not a tech guy, but to see all that start to come together and see really entertaining pieces come from inside the video game, and then being able to control it and pick different camera angles and watch the replays and all the other stuff, and then do it on national TV. That's something that we never would have contemplated doing, not 60 days before we started doing it. And that's pretty spectacular to be able to do that and bring it to the race fans and give us a little bit of levity and entertainment when we were really searching for it in sort of uncertain times. So pretty satisfying to see all that happen.
Absolutely. And after hosting those races on iRacing, the World of Outlaws was also the first racing organization to go back racing in real life. How were you and your team able to overcome those circumstances and bring the real life product back to the fans?
Yeah, when we stopped racing on March the 10th, we didn't really know. It was the first time in the history of World of Outlaws and my racing history that we didn't know when we were going to race next. So that moment in time till we knew where we were going back racing, that was a struggle for us. So we started right away trying to figure out, okay, well, what's really happening? How do we deal with this? How do we keep our people safe? How do we keep our families safe? What are we doing responsibly and all the rest? Okay, now we need to go back to racing. How do we do that responsibly? And started searching for partners and long-standing partnership with Knoxville and candidly an aggressive governor and trying to figure that out. So how do you craft it? What is absolutely necessary to entertain people? You know, obviously we need race cars and we need a track and we need to prep that track and we need to keep everybody safe. So you need fire safety and officials. But to go back on May the 8th, think about that. We went back racing May the 8th. With less than 400 people on the property, including all of the race teams, all their crews, the officials, fire safety, track prep, TV production, all that, and be the first major series back to live event, albeit no fans, and it was quite eerie that day, but something I will never forget, being able to put that in front of our fans and be the first back in racing was pretty spectacular. We were pretty happy about that. There were a few races that were able to happen in front of us with limited capabilities, but we did it by the book, by the mandates that were given, and we did it in front of a national audience, and that was pretty spectacular.
Now, keeping things with the real world, at least two of the drivers competing tonight drive sprint cars in real life, and we've seen past champions of the series get behind the wheel in real life as well. So how much value do you see with sim racing as an asset to the real thing?
Yeah, it's fun. The iRacing piece that we were able to create during the pandemic, actually some names carried forward, and the iRacing guys started racing and they had always raced cars, but now I became a fan of them racing in the real sprint cars. So it's quite interesting to watch the crossover and just brand awareness or name awareness for the teams. Logan Seavey comes to mind. There's some guys that were really interesting to watch race in iRacing, and I watch them now and follow them on what's happening with the real sprint car racing and with the real late model racing. It's been interesting to watch that. Again, people just want to connect. We're human and we want to connect to somebody. And during those times, we were able to watch and create some brand awareness for the drivers. And I think it carried into their real racing career. And that's a positive, and that's good.
I agree with you. That's absolutely positive indeed on that, Mark. Now, 2022 will see both a bigger points fund as well as several new venues added to the calendar. With that in mind, where else do you see dirt racing growing in the next couple of years, and what's next for you and World Racing Group?
At the 2022, I'm as excited about it as I've ever been going into the season. We were able to announce our calendar for 2022 earlier than we have in a long, long time. One year we may have been able to announce most of it in August, but that's been over a decade. So, the calendar came together really easy. We've had a lot of successful events. We're increasing the awareness has been my drive and passion for the longest time. There's no doubt sprint car racing is one of the most entertaining forms of racing. It matches the short attention spans. It matches the entertainment and excitement, the local pieces of it, the family environment. All those pieces are good. For me, it's about awareness. How do we create more awareness for the sport? So through Dirt Vision and the broadcasting every race, through our partnership with CBS, our partnerships with iRacing, and all the social activities, the social media, and all those, it's about awareness. So 2022 is another awareness campaign. We had a lot of new fans after the pandemic come in 2021 for the first time. But 2022, the expansion of the fan base is allowing us to bring more resources to it, schedule some big races, schedule some high-paying prize money for the racers. And candidly, after looking at 21, we've had more unique sprint car, 410 sprint car drivers than we've had in over a decade race in 2021. So 2022 is pretty exciting right now. The season's going to start early for everybody. Already racing in Australia right now, the 410. So in their 2021-22 season. So it's a great time to be a sprint car fan. And iRacing helps bring us through it here in the U.S. in the wintertime. And our Australian friends keep us busy. But we go racing back in February with World of Outlaws. And pretty excited about all the venues, the increased prize money, the increased weekends. And it's going to be a great time to be a sprint car fan in 2022.
I can't wait. Once again, that was Brian Carter, the CEO of World Racing Group in Chase. Lots of good news there.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be an exciting World of Outlaws campaign in 2022. Can't wait to get to Volusia Speedway Park in the real world. But right now, we are in the virtual world, and we are ready for tonight's 35-lap feature event for round number 1 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series here on iRacing.com. Here is the starting lineup for tonight's feature event. On the front row, he's a former World of Outlaws Late Model Series champion on iRacing. Tonight on the pole of the sprint car race from Asheville, New York, the 127 of Blake Majulis. And to the outside of him from Mount Airy, North Carolina, it's the 00 of Kendall Tucker.
The multiple-time champion, driving the number 12 machine from Drummondville, Quebec, starts in third. It's Alex Bergeron, and one of the hottest drivers of 2021 in all of iRacing. From the state of Maryland, the number 17, Cameron Merriman.
Row 3 inside, fifth starter from Manchester, Pennsylvania. It's the Slick Sim Sport 41 of Logan Rumsey. And to the outside of him, one of our rookie contenders from Rocheport, Missouri. It's the 86 of Timothy Smith.
Right on behind in row 4, another rookie to sprint cars from South Carolina, the 33 of Evan C. Alongside of him, the number 5 machine, once more. From Franklin, Pennsylvania, it's Braden Eiler.
Row 5, the 48, you'll find Dylan Yeager, and the 85 car out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania, Tyler Schell. James Edens, Austin Selman in row number 6. Behind them, it's Adam Elby, Tyler Ducharme, Jeremy St. Louis, Chris Sabsky, Mason Hannigan, Aiden Bierlein, Gregory LeMay, and Clayton Tilley. Here we go, 20 cars, 35 laps, round number 1 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on iRacing.com is green at Volusia Speedway Park.
And a clean launch for Blake Majulis. He leads his sprint car through to the back straightaway. Tucker moves up to second. Bergeron trying to defend Cameron Merriman. All the drivers started to mix up their lines. Several to the middle line, several more to the bottom to end lap 1.
Blake Majulis shows the way on lap 1. Kendall Tucker running in the second spot. Third is going to be Alex Bergeron. Fourth, Cameron Merriman. Fifth, Logan Rumsey. We've seen how good Bergeron is here at this racetrack here in the past. Justin, I think he's won the last 3 season openers. We'll see if he can do it again here tonight. But Blake Majulis very strong early in this one.
Here's the thing to think about, though, too, Chase, in regards to Bergeron. He told me earlier yesterday that he didn't have really any expectations for the season opener because a lot could happen depending on how things play out and how things could happen in the following races. There's not a lot of pressure for Alex Bergeron. But right now, he's showing good speed, still in third position as everyone else starts to fight behind.
Blake Majulis out to a pretty comfortable lead, about a half second over the 00 of Kendall Tucker. Let's look back farther through the field. Good race going on for 6th and 7th. Braden Nyler, Timothy Smith, Evan C. all under a blanket down into turn number 1. Also throw Tyler Shell in the mix. Side by side off of turn number 2. Now the back straightaway. Give that spot to Evan C. as he moves up into 7th.
Evan C. slowly, methodically making some moves right now. All well. Tyler Shell starts to try and fall. Side by side and near contact. There is a spin for Timothy Smith. Smith against the wall. Several more crash at the back. Mason Hannigan and Gregory LeMay get tangled together, but the caution is out.
Yeah, one car up on its side. I believe it was Timothy Smith here on lap number 7. Let's take a look at the replay here momentarily and see what happened to our rookie driver, Timothy Smith. I believe he was the highest starting rookie in World of Outlaws competition. Obviously, Blake Majulis was a rookie to the series, but he's been obviously a late model champion. But we'll see what happened to Timothy Smith. It sounds like he was involved. Gregory LeMay and Mason Hannigan, the 3 cars. Here is the replay. As they head down into turn number 1, you see Timothy Smith on the inside right there, on the outside I should say, gets clipped by, I believe that was the 85 of Tyler Shell, and then they just all stack up behind him.
Significant damage in turn as a result to LeMay's machine, losing the front clip. But other than that, they'll restack things after Majulis had a lead of about nearly 7/10 already over Kendall Tucker. And Bergeron was trying to get around Tucker, keep in mind for the caution.
Yeah, Tucker looking strong here in the 2nd spot, but Blake Majulis very impressive right now there. I don't think any of us would have guessed there, Justin, that Blake Majulis would be on the pole at this Volusia race and be leading after lap number 7 here. Very impressed with his debut here as a rookie in the Sprint Car Series. Now, real quick, remember, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about it earlier on in the broadcast, but if you're watching this right now and wondering how in the heck can I get on the racetrack and do this type of stuff, well, you can go to iRacing.com, and right now a Black Friday sale, 50% off of new members. So if that's not enough to get you going, I don't really know what is. I mean, 50% off, that's pretty good. Also, for current members, 25% off of renewals as well. So that's going on through December 4th, the Black Friday sale. Keep that in mind, maybe for a Christmas present, an early Christmas present. I would like to have a 50% off membership there, Justin. I think you would as well. But the pace truck is going off. Blake Majulis, Kendall Tucker, Alex Bergeron, top 3 as we go back to green.
And a great launch from Majulis once more over the others, but look at that, side by side for 2nd. Bergeron immediately to the bottom underneath Tucker. Looking to send it down for the slider. Bergeron up towards the middle line, back and forth as Tucker retakes 2nd.
And in various leagues, these two have gotten into each other multiple times. They don't really like each other, I don't think, Justin. We'll see what happens here in turn number 3 as they're racing for the 2nd spot. Throw the 17 of Merriman there as well. And Braden Nyler, a big move right behind them. Move Isla up into the top 5 as he slid by Logan Rumsey. Rumsey crosses him back up down into turn number 2.
Lots of great battles now as Rumsey holds on to 5th position. Bergeron, though, up in front is now up to 2nd, clearing fully by the 00. All while several drivers are trying to gain valuable positions. Tyler Shell's up 3 spots. Among those right behind him, Sullivan's up 3. Tyler Ducharme's up 4.
Race for 5th, still a good one. Rumsey parks it on the nose of the 5 car. Braden Nyler, they race for 5th. Good race for 3rd as well, as Tucker is now being pressured by the 17 of Cameron Merriman. Merriman to the inside, turn number 3, throws a slider. The 17's got 3rd, and Tucker turns it right back to the inside. He's got 3rd at the line.
Yes, indeed, a lot of good shuffling. Now about 3 wide, though, nearly off through turns 1 and 2. Still, Rumsey preferring around that top line, around that cushion still. Now here comes a bobble for Shell, losing some momentum. Several more squiggling around coming off turn 4.
And now Bergeron has closed in for the race lead. 2 car lengths separate your top 2 drivers. The former late model champion and the 3-time sprint car champion going out of the front of the field. Top of the racetrack in 1 and 2 is the preferred line for both of them. Let's see what happens down here into turn number 3. Top for both of them as well. We've got 15 complete and 20 laps to go this time by.
And remember, a lot of the races as of recent years where Bergeron has competed well, it's been the long run pace where it's been strength for him. Now it's the matter, though, of how he tries to set this up. They are near dead even on lap times, within 100th last time. This time by the stripe, it was Bergeron quicker by a narrow couple 100ths.
And now Eiler's up into the 4 spot, gets by the 17 of Cameron Merriman. The 5 car might be one of the best on the speedway right now. The young guy out of Pennsylvania, Braden Eiler's got 4th, and if he can get a caution here, that would help him tremendously. Race to the lead up front. Here goes Bergeron to the inside down the back straightaway.
Bergeron taking the peak. Bergeron going for the slider. Bergeron losing momentum, though, right against the inside. Just past halfway, Majulis now trades back to the bottom line to counter Kendall. Tucker now back in the fray. 16 to go this time, and they are starting to reel in the traffic. Keep in mind, LeMay is about 15 car lengths up.
Bergeron and Majulis battling it out for the race lead. Brought the double. Oh, caution! We got a caution on the speedway. Let's see what happened here. But that is going to be huge for the number 5 of Braden Eiler. Sounds like the 22, Mason Hannigan, was involved, but Eiler, I think, could be a spoiler in this one. You see what happened to Hannigan. Gets into the wall right there and into the wall again and out of the ballpark and almost falls back into the ballpark. But wow, I think this is a huge caution for the 5 of Braden Eiler.
Absolutely huge, especially with the pace he was showing. You mentioned he was gaining a lot of time on the racetrack. Looking towards his average the past few laps, he had been running 13.7s over the past 5. Compare that to Majulis and Bergeron. He was a 1/10 of a second quicker on average, Chase.
Yes, absolutely. Braden Eiler, like I said, out of Franklin, Pennsylvania. He drives the Elbows Up SimSport, Roofco Indy, Wicked Brands. Number 5 picked up that huge win last season at Knoxville in dramatic fashion when I believe the leader ran out of fuel, and Eiler was able to sneak by and take home his first career and to this date only career win in this series. We'll see what happens here on this restart, but Eiler is definitely the one I'm keeping my eye on. Good run right now for a driver, Logan Rumsey. We did not see him run too well last season. Right now running up there about the 6th position. Other rookies up inside the top 10. Dylan Yeager having a good run as well. And then that's really the only rookie that's up there besides Blake Majulis. So interesting stuff so far in this one. A couple cautions, but 20 down and 15 to go.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of can Blake Majulis continue to defend. He's been great off the launch. But the main thing has been Bergeron's getting more and more consistent. But with Eiler also picking up the pace and with several more trying to get some good grips together, now that they've been able to adjust to these track conditions, it's going to be a dogfight, I think, for these final 15 laps for the first feature winner of the year.
Yeah, Blake Majulis, that last lap did run the fastest lap of the top 5, but Eiler was the 2nd fastest driver, and then it looks like it was Kendall Tucker and then Alex Bergeron. So let's see what happens here. The pace truck about to pull off. 15 laps to go to decide it here for round number 1 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship on iRacing. What a jump right there for Blake Majulis. He gets away from Alex Bergeron in turn number 1.
Don't look now, though, but Bergeron was able to time it up well to send it hard into turns 1 and 2, though. Now up to the cushion through 3 and 4. Majulis about a half lane lower throughout the corner. They picked up 4/10 on the rest of the pack as Bergeron goes for the move.
Tries to make the move to the inside of Blake Majulis. Majulis says no, drives around him. Now Bergeron going to try and roll the inside like we've seen him do in years past. Can't make it happen, gets in the slick, the 1-2-7 back around the outside. He'll lead lap number 23, 12 to go. And Blake Majulis, in his first sprint car start in World Championship competition, might be able to take home the victory.
Bergeron back up to the cushion. Meanwhile, throughout all this, a majority of the drivers I've noticed, Chase, are starting to migrate towards the top in 3 and 4, more so bottom to middle in 1 and 2. Now it's the matter, though, of how this plays out. Keep in mind, Merriman and Eiler are now scrapping as well for 4th. Merriman parks the bus for 4th.
Yeah, Merriman gets by, but Eiler back to the inside, reclaims 4th off at turn number 2, down to the back straightaway. The top 3 now only separated by about 6 car lengths. Your race leader still Blake Majulis and Bergeron. Oh, Majulis, little bobble on the cushion right there. Gathers it back in. Bergeron looks to the inside, pulls up alongside of him, but the 1-2-7's got momentum down the back straightaway. Caution's out again.
And this time, Adam Elby, yes, from 14th position in the 74. Tough break for Adam Elby, and I think he found Jeremy St. Louis down the front straightaway here.
Adam Elby out of Tracy, California, the Bear Archery Swindell Speed Lab machine, and big contact at Elby flips at the majority down the front straightaway here at Volusia Speedway Park, and that'll probably be the end of his night here. And we will restart this race with just under 10 laps to go here at Volusia. Majulis looked stronger than he had there in the past couple of runs there, Justin. It looked like the 2 previous runs before we got that caution. It looked like Bergeron was catching him, but right there, it looked like maybe the short run speed was very good for the 127.
Yeah, and I think this, with now the precautions starting to pop up, Chase, it's playing perfectly into Blake's hands as a result there with that pace, because based on what we've seen in the past from Alex Bergeron and knowing some of his tendencies, Bergeron needs a few laps usually to be able to get to work, find his rhythm, get that long run pace together, because the longer the run, the quicker that 12 machine goes. So in other words, if you're Blake Majulis, you're hoping precautions to continue, allowing him to control these starts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what's on his mind as well. He wouldn't mind seeing a couple more yellow flags. Let's take a look at the top 10 as they run with 9 laps to go. Your race leader is Blake Majulis. Second is Alex Bergeron. Third is Kendall Tucker. Fourth is the 17 of Cameron Merriman. Fifth is the number 5 of Braden Eiler. Sixth, the 85 of Tyler Schell. Seventh, the 41 of Logan Rumsey. Eighth is the 33 of Evan C. Ninth, the 48 of Dylan Yeager. And in 10th, it is the 18 of Austin Selman. So those are your top 10 runners right now. Still 18 cars on the lead lap with Timothy Smith and Mason Hannigan. 1 lap down and 6 laps down respectively here as we're set to get the green flag this time by. It looks like Merriman able to pick up the pace there on that last restart as well. We'll see if that translates in here to maybe a podium run. Remember, the top 3 pay money at the end of this one. $300 for the win, $200 for second, $100 for third. Green flag back in the air, but Julis back on the hammer.
And another good launch once more. Bergeron a little bit closer, though, going out of turn 2. He drifts all the way up through the slick to the top groove. Majulis elects to go to the bottom for the slide. How does Bergeron fare now, though, with the run off the corner? Majulis handles it calmly.
Yeah, that was a good move right there. Go to the inside. He could not get by him. The 12 car could. Now here comes Tucker. Big run down into turn number 3. And Kendall Tucker might have the bottom side wired. He'll try it in 3 and 4. He's got something going down there. He gets by for second now. Tucker, we'll see what he can do down here in 3 and 4. Maybe he can get up alongside of Blake Majulis.
Tucker looking for that opportunity. Majulis up top. Bergeron up top as well. Tucker with the slow roll, though. Near to the back end now goes Tucker. Under 6 laps to go. Majulis trying to change up lines as it's side by side, a couple rows deep behind him.
Kendall Tucker catfishing down low, looking for the race lead off at turn number 4. Can't make it happen. Loses second now. Bergeron to the top side of the racetrack. Majulis slides through the middle. Here comes Merriman. A 3-car battle for the lead down the back straightaway. Under 5 laps to go. What is going to happen here to finish it off at Volusia Speedway Park?
Bergeron running out of time. He's going for the peak. Bergeron going for the slide through 1 and 2. Majulis up high. Majulis with the run. Bergeron forced to reset. Tucker's now moved up to the cushion. Merriman, the only driver amongst the top 5, now running that bottom line as several tap the wall.
Bergeron smacked the wall on the front straightaway. That might be in the nail in the coffin. That might be the victory for the 127 of Blake Majulis. This time by 2 laps to go for the former late model series champion. Merriman now up to third. He gets by Tucker. And here comes the 5 of Eiler as well.
They nearly sandwiched together for that third step of the podium and some of the final paying positions for money-wise. But now for Blake Majulis, ready to take the white flag this time by.
White flag, 1 lap to go. The former World of Outlaws Morton Buildings Late Model Series champion in his first start with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Through 3 and off of 4. He'll start from the pole. He'll lead all 35. Majulis wins at Volusia. Bergeron runs in second. Cameron Merriman in third. Kendall Tucker, Braden Eiler, the top 5. Then it's Tyler Schell, Logan Rumsey, Evan C., Tyler Ducharme, and Dylan Yeager, the top 10 finishers in this one. Wowzers. If you would have told me Blake Majulis wins the first race of the season, I would have told you were insane. What a run. And now he has made himself a championship contender right off the bat.
And I think this shows just the adaptability as a driver he has, and there's a reason he was able to win a championship in another type of car. He was able to translate very quickly over the past couple months and about the past year, it looks like, for Blake Majulis to be able to get up to speed with the sprint car and become that dominant with that pace. This is going to be very fun, to say the very least, now between some of these top drivers this season as a result of Majulis putting his hand into the battle for the championship.
Yeah, now let's take a look once again at your feature finish. Majulis, Bergeron, Merriman, Tucker, Eiler, Schell, Rumsey, C., Ducharme, Yeager was the top 10. 11th through 20th looked like this. It was Chris Sabsky in 11th, James Edens in 12th, 13th, Austin Selman, 14th, Clayton Tilley, 15th, Aiden Bierlin, 16th, Jeremy St. Louis, 17th was Gregory LeMay, 18th was Adam L.B., 19th, Timothy Smith, and 20th was Mason Hannigan. So that was your top 20. That was your 20 drivers that made the feature event. A very exciting way to start off the 2021-2022 season here with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. So Justin, I think we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to come back and talk to our top 3 finishers here tonight and get their thoughts. Welcome back to Barberville, Florida, the Volusia Speedway Park for round number 1 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series here on iRacing.com. Chase Rodman, Justin Prince up here in the tower. And we just saw ourselves a phenomenal race. Justin, a lot of fun in that one. A couple of yellows to kind of slow things down, but wowzers. Blake Majulis gets the job done and kind of in surprise fashion.
Yeah, it was absolute domination from Blake Majulis, to say the very least, and now it's the matter of, can he keep it up is the big first question, but the second question is going to be, essentially, who's going to be able to try and bounce back momentum-wise after tonight, because it's pretty clear that Blake Majulis knows what he's doing with this sprint car with all the work he's prepared for this season.
Yeah, let's talk to him. Let's bring our race winner up to victory lane, and let's get a word with the driver of the number 127 out of Asheville, New York. And Blake, you are standing by now. Very impressive stuff here tonight, my friend, the former late model series champion. And I was telling Justin, if you would have told me that you would have won the first race of the sprint car series, I would have said you are absolutely insane. But here you are in victory lane at Volusia, holding off Alex, who's been so good at this track in the past. You've got to be feeling like $1 million right now.
Yeah, dude, unbelievable. Can't even explain how I feel right now. Just, barely made it through the qualifying series, just terrible. And we're in the winner's box here, so I really can't believe it. Just started off the night really good with that pole, and set felt really good there at the end, rolling middle. So I wish I could have found that middle a little earlier there in 3 and 4, but we had just enough to hold Alex off and Cam down there. But super good run. I can't believe it, honestly. Just like I said, huge underdog story here, but feels really good.
Yeah, very, very fun to watch here tonight. Now that, you said you weren't really too confident, it sounded like, after the qualifying series, but now that you've won, now that you're going to be leading the point standings after round number 1 and just a 10-race championship, have you been a part of so many of them and know how quickly they go by, how much more are you going to focus now that you are in a position to capitalize on $10,000?
Yeah, it's time to go for the 10 Gs for sure. That's the main goal. Obviously, every time you get in here, that's the goal. So, to start out like this, I don't think I've ever had a good run like this in round number 1, and to let it be a sprint car, it just hires my expectations for the season. So I'm really hoping we can just keep these runs going and not be a one-track wonder here and just go backwards. But I don't think that's the case. I think we'll be good week in and week out if I put the time in and just make sure I'm consistent. I can't believe I pulled it off, really. I can't believe I guessed the lines right and whatnot. These are just so much different than late models. It's just it's crazy to be here right now.
Everyone knows the success you've had in the late model series over the past couple of seasons. But now, like you said, in the sprint car, you're surprised as to what happened tonight. Are there any tracks on the schedule that you're kind of worried about that you haven't been very good at in the past?
Well, that's the thing is there's a lot of tracks I haven't raced yet, and this was one of them until the beginning of the week, and clicked on some stuff and ended up being pretty good here. But hopefully we have some more half miles. I think what I just ran would be pretty good at those, and I feel really good at the short tracks. So I hope there's a couple of those, but I haven't taken a too in-depth look at the schedule yet. Just gonna go with the flow and keep these podium runs going, hopefully.
All right, man. Well, congratulations. Very exciting to see a quote-unquote rookie in the sprint cars here tonight get the win. Nice job.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, can I take a minute? I got to thank a couple guys. Represent Limited, Game Up Nutrition, Nick Diaz Academy, ML Performance, Reliable Energy Solutions, Jeff Swilley. Hopefully he's watching tonight. Chris Ferguson Motorsports, he's a big part of my program. CD Cinematography, Design 75 for the Sweet Ride. Race XR, Evan C, Dylan Yeager, good job to those guys. Majula Say Speed Shop, CFM Esports, 127 Industries. Brett Wheeler at Ultimate Dirt TV. My girlfriend for watching. Everyone that watched, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Blake Majulis, your winner here tonight at the Volusia Speedway Park. And in second here tonight, he's been so dominant at this racetrack in the past, but will come up with a runner-up position. Alex Bergeron now standing with Justin Prince.
Yes, indeed, Alex Bergeron with a very stellar race. Ended up starting this one from the third position, finishing in second tonight, Alex. First things first, talk us through that battle with Blake Majulis as you tried several times to get around that 127.
I mean, it was good. We're very cautious about it because we know how we race, and it's always going not always too good for me when we are together. So to be very easy with that and just think about the championship, not about this whole entire race.
One of the things you talked about with me yesterday when we spoke was you came into tonight with no expectations. Now that you showcased the speed early on, like in the past, what are kind of your thoughts now on the momentum built up knowing you're inside the top three right for the get-go again?
Oh, it feels good. It gives us some confidence even more. Qualifying was really difficult, especially the track not being as tacky as last year. So we don't really know what line it is. So it's more of like a bit of a luck to find that line and get in that right groove. But we were able to get a good lap in, and that's what matters, to start up front, win our heat race, get the most points. That's what matters at the end of the championship. And we're just the first race. It's always good to be up front in the first race and show what we can do, but hopefully next week we can qualify a bit more better and start a bit up front.
Now, when it comes to tonight, keep in mind too, Blake Majulis is someone you raced a lot with the late models, of course. Now, seeing his speed in a sprint car, knowing that he actually said prior to you jumping to the booth that he didn't feel too confident during tonight himself. What do you think it's going to be like trying to battle with Blake Majulis, knowing some of the battles you had on his side of the turf?
Well, I think it's going to come down to qualifying as much as possible. When we start up front, it's a lot easier. We definitely had two guys up front there we really have to take care of and make sure we don't get wrecked. So, it's hard, but when we get up front, and we have a clean hair and we can pull away, it's good. And I feel like we had a good car tonight once again. We were very confident going in, and we showed what we had for speed, and I think we got it. It's just going to be a matter of how we do the rest of the season and keeping the car clean and everything. It's just sometimes the luck doesn't go your way, but we have to put ourselves in a good position for that.
Congratulations on the second place, Alex.
Thank you, Justin.
Alex Bergeron, second place tonight. Chase, back over to you.
And now let's talk to the number 17, the driver out of Ellicott City, Maryland. It's Cameron Merriman. Cameron, an up-and-down race for you. Great battles between yourself, Kendall Tucker, Braden Eiler, and you come out on top between those three guys on the bottom step of the podium. I feel like this is the best start to a championship season you've had.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, hey, thanks for welcoming me, and it was definitely thrilling getting there with Braden Eiler. Like you mentioned, Kendall Tucker, we had a great scrap, and really I felt like I was just biding my time waiting for the bottom to come in. The top was ripping for so long in that race. I was desperate that the bottom would come in, and when it did, I felt like I was quick as a rocket, but I didn't have quite enough time. But that's testament to the speed of Bergeron and Majulis. So overall, yeah, phenomenal race.
A lot of drivers, Bergeron himself, James Edens, Adam Elvey, a couple guys that I've talked to have said that you are one to watch out for this season as far as battling it out for this championship. What have you found over the last, it's been a while since this championship has even been a thing. What have you found since the last championship series that has led to this speed?
I built up a lot of lessons learned that I learned from the last Pro Series. Our last go around had a really good summer, outside the Pro Series in a variety of leagues. And then I actually haven't been in the sim for about 3 months. Back in September, I broke my kneecap, tore some tendons in a sprint car race in real life. That kicked me out of the sim. I had my knee up in a brace, and I've just very recently been able to take myself out of the brace to put myself in the cockpit. But with the new build, it's all part of a learning experience. But the cars are very intuitive now. They map a lot more realistically to real life with the new tire model. You get a lot. The front end gets really shovey if you're too heavy on the throttle. So it definitely incentivizes precise and solid driver inputs. And so from that perspective, I love it. And when the sim can place you in those shoes, it's only the drivers who can think through a process and lend some critical thinking can come out on top. So I feel like from that perspective, I felt quite strong all night and knew I'd be able to put myself in contention at least for a podium spot.
Not just kind of taking yourself out of, just running third here tonight. Coming into this championship season, is this the best that you've ever felt as far as trying to contend with Alex Bergeron and James Edens and those guys?
In a pro environment, yes. Over the summer, I probably felt a bit better with the old model because we had literally years with that to get to know it and love it. But with this, it's something fresh. So you feel everyone's been re-baselined a bit, and you're kind of all dealing with the heart pains and struggles of learning something a little bit new. So from that perspective, yeah, I feel like maybe Bergeron and we got the new guys, Matt Julis and Evan C. Maybe they don't have the secrets that they once had, and might give us freelancers a shot. So yeah, definitely feel very strong coming into tonight, and knew I'd have a solid shot. It's just a matter of the track states compensating. In that mid-course, that mid-phase of the race, I definitely didn't feel like a podium car. Braden and Kendall definitely had the better of me, and I just needed to wait and be patient and run a solid line until the track came to me. So these guys are incredibly high caliber drivers. It's very humbling to be out here on the track with them. So you can't win them all, obviously, but it's thrilling to be in the cockpit.
Cameron, always great to talk to you. Great job on the third place run here tonight.
Appreciate it. Take care.
The House of Hair Motorsports entry, driven by Cameron Merriman, runs in the third spot here tonight. Phenomenal run by him. Now, Justin, that's just race number 1. We've got 9 left to go. We've got to take a look at this schedule once again and chalk up Blake Majulis as the winner here at Volusia Speedway Park. Next Monday night, it's November 22nd. We're at Kokomo, and guess what? It's actually my birthday as well. We'll be calling the action from Indiana's baddest bull ring, but taking a look at this schedule, man, I'm very, very excited. And looking at some of the drivers that ran well here tonight, I think this championship's up in the air.
I think so too, especially with how tight the confines will be over the next 2 weeks with some of the quick lap times we'll see. Kokomo's going to be very challenging because in the series history, you've seen very different winners compared to some of the bigger tracks. Chase Cabry, Hayden Cardwell, the previous winners at Kokomo. I'm curious if someone else adds their name to that list, Chase.
And then after that, we head to Bristol, Eldora, Williams Grove, Knoxville, Cedar Lake, Lernerville, Weedsport, and the dirt track at Charlotte. Just some of the biggest dirt tracks in all of the United States of America. Cannot wait to see who wins all those and who comes out on top as the 2021-2022 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series champion on iRacing.com. And with that, I think that'll be the end of tonight's broadcast. But like we said, next Monday night, we're back here in the booth. We're back on iRacing social media channels and DirtVision.com. We'll see you at Kokomo Speedway next Monday night, November 22nd, for more World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series action. Good night, everyone.